All right, welcome back. Let me keep this hopefully short. Is this mod necessary? Probably not. Is it fun to do it? Yeah. Can you buy something? Yes. Is it better just to do it yourself? Of course. So today we're just gonna be doing blanking plates in order for me to remove my rear set, or not my rear set, but my rear pegs or passenger pegs. So I'm not gonna be riding with anyone so far, and I'm not making any modifications that are going to prevent me to do it in the future. So I'm just going to be removing the rear pegs and also providing a place for my reservoir to be attached to, because the actual current attachment point is actually on the rear peg. So just come with me and let's just do this right now. All right, so this is what I was chatting or talking to you about. If I remove this, I will leave my reservoir hanging. So in the past, what I did is actually just to get some Tigan 2375, which I've made videos in the past, which is a very solid brake line you can use in here, which is also clear, which adds a little bit to flavor or, you know, taste, I guess, to the bike. And I removed this completely in lieu of having a hose that was going to be holding my brake fluid. But for right now, I'm not gonna do that. So I'm just gonna be removing this and then just putting a blanking plate that I can cover where these holes go, which you don't have to do, but I just decided to do it. And then also adding a piece of metal in here alongside with the blanking plate, so I can provide a place where my reservoir is just gonna sit. On this side should be fairly easy, which is the left side of the bike, because there's nothing in here. So I'm just going to be removing the pegs, and I will go ahead and put a blanking plate that's gonna provide me with a place where I can keep my bolts in place where I don't lose them. And that way I can just keep the holes, I guess, blocked. And you're only going to see this as opposed to having two holes that nobody knows exactly what was happening there, okay? Okay, I want to be careful not to strip it because sometimes there's Loctite in here. So I'm gonna try to see if I can remove it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna apply heat to remove it. Yep, I'm not gonna go ahead and keep adding force. I'm just gonna heat it up, make sure that it's gonna come off once the Loctite has been dissolved, or, you know, getting a little bit softer. Let's try a little bit more leverage. Whew, still. Okay, here we go. The resistance is definitely coming from the Loctite. In case you didn't believe me, that's why. There was a lot of like Loctite in there. Okay, to avoid wasting a lot of material, I'm just gonna go ahead and make a template. Okay, the length is perfect, so I like that. Okay, so I can draw a little bit of contouring here. So now that I'm happy with the shape, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it and make the hole for the bolts. This way, this shaping here is not perfect, but that's okay. Okay. Okay, that looks pretty nice. So I can just round this one. So I'm going to be using, you know, sheet metal. You know, this is 16 gauge. I just bought a plate that I've been using for some other projects. So I'm just gonna put this plate in here. And we want to transfer, I'm just gonna go two-way corner so it's easier. I don't have to be, you know, cutting all the way in. I'm just gonna leave myself a little bit space. And I'm gonna trace it. Do it twice in case it doesn't. Okay, so I have the part. This is what I told you that I was gonna maybe eat a little bit. I can go ahead and cut this with either a grinder or, you know, whatever I use, a cutoff wheel, whatever, it doesn't matter. All right, so now with the help of my grinder, some ear protection as well as eye protection. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut the shape and start shaping the part as close as possible to the drawing. Every so often I continue checking the part just to see how close I'm getting to the original template, and then I just change from a cutoff wheel to a flap disc just so I can start kind of giving it a little bit more shape, and then now even by hand refining the final steps just so it gets as smooth as possible. Now that I'm happy with the left side, I'm just going to start removing the right side so I can do my template and do the process again one more time. On the left side, I'm going to show you some of more of the steps as the part where it went from raw, super raw cuts all the way up to the point where I started kind of drilling my holes and then refining little by little as I was test fitting the part and seeing, okay, I need to cut in here, I need to cut there. Then the shape is just the shape that I decided just to go with. You don't have to do the same, but just an example of how you can progress, and I can go back and make more changes in the future, but I'm pretty happy with what I have so far. Okay, so now that I'm happy with the fitment and I know it's holding the reservoir and everything is lining up, I'm just gonna go ahead and powder coat the part. So I'm actually going to heat up the toaster oven. Of course, this is not the toaster oven I used to make toast for my family, so I'm just gonna heat it up so I can clean it for a second time, and then I'm just gonna start getting ready to powder coat it. I am not a professional, but I've done powder coating for a few years. A couple things that I want to mention is I found very similar to when you paint, preparation is the key for a part that comes out perfect. So normally I try to clean the part with alcohol and maybe even soap. I put it in the oven just so any impurity will come out, and then I heat up the part one more time and then I'll bring it out, which is why I'm kind of trying to be careful because the part is going to be hot and I'm going to get ready to get powder coating. In case you have never seen powder coating before, so this is a mix between positive and negative charge. So you're pretty much adding power to your part, which is causing some static that's going to bring that powder together. So every time I'm actually holding the trigger on my right hand, I'm actually holding another trigger on the left side, which is actually passing or allowing some electricity going in, or current going into the part, which is going to create that static, is going to make that powder stick. Since the part is hot, it's going to make it even better just to stick easily, and now it should be pretty much ready to put it back on the oven. With the powder coated finished, now since the part is hot, the powder is not going to come off as easy as the part was actually cold. So I'm now going to put it back in the oven, which is already hot, and I'm going to cook this part for 20 minutes on 400 degrees. Even though it's not necessary, I'd like to kind of take a look at the part every so often just to see how things are going and ensuring things are actually going up to the plan. All right, so this me again just checking on the parts. Things seems to be going okay. And now I'm just going to show you the final product. That part is done and just resting before I can grab it because it's pretty hot. This is now the one on the left side, so it's actually going pretty well as well. So I'm just going to leave it here to finish cooking. Okay, so now with the parts cooked and cold, at least to the touch, I can go ahead and pull them out of the oven and start reassembling, or at least just putting them in the correct spot. In my opinion, some of these modifications, actually kind of get you closer to, your project. So, stuff that you're actually spending time doing and working on, and I can, in the future, just choose to do something else. I mean, in here, I'm just showing you how, resistant and resilient, the powder coating is. And now I can show you how clean it looks without having the rear, pegs. And then I can in the future just change the actual contour of the part. But the most important thing is that I did it and I'm happy with the final result. Thank you a lot for watching this video.